Hello, my friends. It's a Simple Samurai, and I have another review for you. Another Eco Saber from Saberforge. This time, I'm going to be reviewing the Gen 4 Acolyte, and you see that before you. First, the accessories, the goodie box, the accoutrements that came with the saber. It was a poster of this guy. Very nice, very nice. And you also get the required hex key. This isn't the one that came with it. It's just a hex key. I have so many of those silly things. And you have your reactor blade plug. And then of course you came with your charger cable. Let's get the little thing with the USB thingamabonger on it, and then you have your cable. Charging time is about 2 to 3 hours. Generally, that's my experience. Let's put that over here. And then your QR code. There you go. Oh, my finger's in the way. Your QR code to get to the user guide, such as it is, and the thank yous and all the aforementioned accolades and whatever. But you're here for this. Are you not? Are you not amused? So this is the Acolyte, and it is the V1 finish. So it's the unweathered finish, and so you get this sort of brushed aluminum sort of appearance of a very, very old Republic-y kind of saber. I find the pommel, to me, sort of reminds me of Darth Revan pommel. I don't know if that's what it's based off of. I was looking at pictures comparing this to the non-eco variants of the Acolyte on Saberforge's website, and there's a lot of similarities. There's some differences, of course, naturally. One would expect that. But anyway, pommel. Back to pommel. So I don't know if you can see in there. You get your pommel insert to keep you from sticking your finger into the speaker and damaging it, because it doesn't really need any help in damaging itself, apparently. I'm not exactly sure where the seam is. I think it's probably here. I'm not going to remove the pommel, because if there's one thing I've learned with these Ecos, don't do anything too provocative to it, because even the Gen 4s are a little bit fragile, as we're starting to learn. Not quite as fragile as the Gen 3s, but fragile nonetheless. There's been kind of this habit of speakers getting crackly. My Bastion, the speaker's starting to crackle, and it hasn't happened on the Acolyte yet, but I imagine it's probably only a matter of time. So there's the pommel. I don't really need to describe what you're seeing here. Your eyes work. But I can say that I do, I like the pattern, the design here. It's very nice. It's repeated 4 times, just as it is on the apprentice size hilt. And it reminds me a lot of the Ranger's design. And I think the other saber in the line, the Disciple, I think it's the Disciple. I think it's the exact same hilt, just with a leather wrap, because the pictures, I mean, it looks like the exact same hilt, but with the leather wrap. So I'm only going to be getting this variant. Keep getting dust. Hold on. Dust everywhere. I might get the, what's it called? Someone that looks like the Ahsoka Tano saber. I can't remember the word, but I might get that one. I don't know. We'll see. So modified or improved, I think. Switch section. I'll just leave it at that. It's backlit. This one has the purple LED setup, so the backlit switch is purple. And there are no sharp edges or gougy points or owies on this saber, unless you start sticking your finger in here, and that's kind of sharp, but your hand doesn't really belong down here anyway. This is kind of sharp, so just be aware of that. That's about the only thing that is sharp on here. Well, it's a little sharp in here too, but I haven't had any issues with that. The place where your hand's going to be most of the time, either here or here, are perfectly smooth and very well finished, so no issues here. So it's, as with most of the Saberforge Gen 4 sabers, it's really nicely balanced. I find that the hilts on these are a little bit longer than they were in the Gen 3s. I could be mistaken. Someone requested a bit of a comparison, so I'll probably do that at some point if I can find one of my Gen 3s that still works. They don't really last very long. So you got your LED retention screw here, blade retention screw here, and you got these nice windows here, this nice cutout here, and the windows repeat on the other side. So it's a very, very nice emitter, a slanted emitter on this saber. I quite like it. The overall design is very, very fetching. And as you can see, I've got a 32-inch Infinity V4 blade, so the balance point's about where my finger is here. Hi-oh. So pretty decently balanced. And get my hand right where it belongs here. So yeah, as you can see, you're not getting splattered with blood or sinew or muscle or bone. So fairly injury free, very comfortable hilt. You can move your hand up and down the thing. You can do a single-handed, two-handed. It's light enough to allow you to, be pretty flexible. So it's overall a very, very beautiful and lovely saber. So just for the heck of it, let's go through all the fonts and the features, as it were. Let's boot this thing up. 7 seconds holding the button will get you booted up. There you go. And you've got your purple backlit switch. Very nice, very nice. And turn it on. Got gunmetal already booted up. I'll be doing a nighttime LED comparison probably tonight. I'll be comparing this with the amethyst, the violet amethyst of Ultra Sabers. So you'll get that love tonight. And it just happened to be that the last font that I used was gunmetal, so that's what booted up. And sometimes, when you put this into sleep mode, depending on the mood the saber's in, when you turn on, it'll be set to mute. And I'll show you how to turn on your fonts. So the accelerometer works pretty well on this one. Fairly loud. When I unboxed this, it seemed like the accelerometer might be completely knackered, but it seems to be okay. And you've got your blaster block, and your lockup. To change fonts, you just hold that for 3 seconds till you hear a prompt. In theory.
Saberforge Crimson.
And then you just turn it on. I'll go back and I'll do all the clashes at once. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to go back and do the clashes. You'll hear the clashes tonight when I do the blade comparison. How's that sound? Does that sound good? Alrighty then. Here we go.
Saberforge Viridian.
It's supposed to be Viridium, but it always sounds like she's saying Viridian to me. So for months, I was doing videos and saying it was Viridian. So forgive me for that. Viridian? Viridium. That's the one that seems to be the most funky. It tends to... It's the one that seems the most fallible. As you can tell. Come on now. And then, of course, if you hold this for 3 seconds and then release, again, in theory, the switch isn't as responsive as it is on my Bastion. Wow. I'm making a mockery of this. There we go. Hey, finally got it to work. So, yeah, so you can mute it and you get, all the same effects. Essentially, you even get clash. And to turn it off, you just hold this for 7 seconds until you hear your power down mode. Power off. And there you go. Now you're in deep sleep mode. Yeah, for battery preservation. Now, hold still, please. Yeah, so this runs off a standard lithium-ion 18650 battery. And is my ruler here? Is it? No, it has been removed. Oh, well. I was going to measure it for you, but I'm going to say that this thing's probably about 10 3/4 by 11 inches to 11 inches long, something like that. I don't know. Suffice it to say, if you look at my hands, and my hands are plenty big, you can see it's a fairly decent size hilt. And you got plenty of room for another hand. My hand's holding my camera, as is my style for shooting these videos. Anyway, so let's give you kind of a visual tour. Okay, from one end to the other. We'll just roll on down. I like the cutaways. The anodization that they do is quite spectacular. The V2, that's of course the weathered version. And the V3 is the black version. I don't own either of those. I'm not going to be getting all of the Gen 4s. I only liked the Bastion and this one. And I already own a weathered Apprentice Bastion, and I ordered a V1, or I ordered the V3 because I wanted one with the black hilt, and I have a V1 Apprentice Bastion coming already, so I'm probably not going to order another Bastion. I'm going to save my money. Praetorian. Yes, that's the one. That's the one I'm probably going to get. I will get a Praetorian if they ever become available. Now, I did email Saberforge, and they were kind enough to respond, and they told me, because I was inquiring about the Gen 4s, when will they be available again, and I received kind of a generic message just saying usually when a Saber is out of stock, it's about 6 to 8 weeks before they're restocked. But I'm thinking that there may be more of a delay given everything that's going on with China with the coronavirus and Wuhan being shut down, and it's just a bad situation there. Doesn't seem to be improving all that much. I mean, they are anticipating maybe opening up factories again in April, and that means it's going to be a few months before everyone gets back on track. It's the poor country's in a sorry state right now. So that really has affected a lot of electronics manufacturers. And not only that, but parts that you have in all products, not just electronics, just invariably the world economy is going to feel some shortages for a while. And I can't help but think that these sabers are going to be affected by that. Now, a company like Saberforge, they say that they produce everything in-house, so they apparently haven't had an issue with this. But I would have to assume that with a saber like this, I mean, this is really, really a common sort of Chinese market sort of board setup, albeit maybe they do it in-house, maybe they produce them themselves. They already own a plethora of the components. I don't really know. I don't know what their production processes are. I don't have the insider angle on that company, but I mean, they have to be affected at some point, and just the volume of orders, is obviously. I mean, they're still recovering from the holidays and whatnot. So, but anyway, so that all being said, final opinion, I find this to be a lovely, lovely hilt. I really like the design. There's a lot of design elements that they put into this. There's the simplicity and elegance. It's comfortable. So far, the board sounds pretty good. I really like the pommel. I really like the emitter. I mean, everything about this design is just brilliant. I like the finish. If I can get in there, you can see it's kind of a brushed aluminum. Very nice. I really like the smoothness, the anodization that they put a lot of work into this, a lot of design elements. It's just a beautiful, beautiful hilt, and it's kind of one of my favorites. Plus, I do like the subtlety of the purple LED. It's very fetching. So I mean, as far as so far, this saber, I'm gonna have to give it 2 thumbs up. With a caveat that I don't really expect the electronics to hold up very well. That just seems to be, when you buy one of these sabers, it's almost, I mean, I would say that you could duel with this one more so than you could duel with a Gen 3. But except the fact that, the electronics probably won't hold up. But yeah, I'd say this is a pretty decent quality dueling saber. I know that people are going to ask me. I haven't, of course, dueled with it, but I've been swinging this thing around a lot, and it's a lot of fun. So anyway, that is my review of Saberforge's Economy Gen 4 Acolyte. And yeah, it's a very, very nice saber. When they become available again of all the Gen 4s, I highly recommend this one and the Bastion. And of course, just understand that there are issues with the electronics from time to time.
Saberforge Crimson.
And on that subject, I mean, just be aware that if you go to the Saberforge website, they do have a section for sending in sabers for repairs. You just fill out the form, strip the saber of all things that are not necessary, like the blade or a blade plug or, things of that nature. And you just have to describe what the problem is and send it in. And they're supposed to prioritize repairs. I sent in a Redeemer and a Nova about a week ago, and I haven't heard from them yet. They're supposed to give you a kind of an assessment of the repairs needed, if there's going to be additional cost, and yeah, so I'm waiting to hear from that. But I did have to send in one of these. I had to send in one of my Gen 3s. I think it was my Stalwart. I think it was my Stalwart. I'm not 100% certain. And they repaired it, and it came back. It's a little bit, still a little bit wonky, but it works okay. So yeah, their repair services are decent. So anyway, yeah, that ends this video. If you have any comments, questions, whatever, I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. I tried to cover everything as thoroughly as I feel is necessary. I'll put a timeline for when I ordered the saber, when I received the saber, and how many days it was in the description at some point, throughout the day. And, that'll give you an idea of how long it took. I mean, it took over 2 months for the saber to arrive. And I ordered it pretty much the day that the Gen 4s went live, like within 20 minutes. So yeah, it took a while, but I think it was worth it. They really put forward a pretty decent effort on this saber. So yeah, comment away. Please, subscribe if you haven't already, and I invite your likes or dislikes. Let me know. Let me know really how you feel. Don't hold back. I can handle it. Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you next time. Take care now. Bye-bye.